So the carpet is done now, and it's crazy how little of it is actually exposed. Half of it is underneath the seat, and really only this center section is exposed. And you don't really even notice that it's a different color than the carpet there. So that's not bad for a beat 'em up truck. But now it's time to finish the heater core. So I'm going to drain the coolant again and loop in the heater core. And I may run by the junkyard and see if I can find one of those, because I don't like that hole. It's getting all over the place as usual. But it looks pretty clear. It does not look murky like it used to. And while that's draining, I am going to go ahead and disconnect where I looped the lines going to the heater core. And if you haven't seen my previous videos on how disgusting the coolant was in this truck because it sat so long, I may go try and find new lines to run to the heater core, because I'm pretty sure these will be nasty on the inside as well. And I'll wash this out as well, because you can see the coolant isn't murky anymore, but there is some sediment that has settled out. So I mean, I'm gonna run it, but I'm definitely gonna wash this out. So next year at about this time, I'll do the same thing, and hopefully I'll have much less sediment. So one side of the heater core is connected to this line, which is not just a hose, so I can't just quickly replace it. It has a connection like that on it, on one side. So I may replace it in the future, but that is not in the cards for today. And this is the hose for the other side. And because of the way it was connected, it had some coolant still stuck in it, the coolant and water mix. And the hose looked clean. All the water that came out of it was clear, until I looked at this side. Now that side, if I can get it to focus, now that side is kind of nasty. I could try to clean it out, but I might as well just replace it. Hose is cheap. And I might have some on the wall. Nasty. So I was working on the truck, and the ice cream man came by. And I haven't gotten anything from Ice Cream Man in decades. So I got something, man. It's good too. Just make you feel like a kid sometimes, right? So I went to the store, got some new hose, and I am going to reconnect the heater core lines now. This one goes on that one, which is the bigger one. At least it looks like the bigger one. Now for the new one. I hope this hose clamp works. Nice snug fit. I guess the hose clamp will work. So this one is from the heater core, and it goes on this one, which is dirty from all that stuff I flushed out. And this one goes on the reservoir overflow. Let's see if I need good hose clamps. The OD of this tube is a little smaller than the original tube, so I need to find a hose clamp that will work. I think I found one for the overflow. Let's see. Alright, this one will work. It's a bit tight and a bit overkill, but that will work for the overflow. Alright, so that's good for the overflow. All the other ones I have, I mean, I could pinch them down, but wait a minute. They're all just a little too small or too big for the heater core return. I'm gonna go with this spring hose clamp. While it's probably not ideal, if it doesn't leak, it doesn't leak. And this is easy to get to, and leaks will be obvious. So I am gonna use it. So it's been running for several minutes and it is completely dry up there. I'll keep an eye on it as I drive it, but if it's leaking, it's not a fast leak. And yeah, coolant is flowing through the heater core. It is nice and warm, so I'm just gonna finish bleeding the system and the truck will be back in service. At this point, I was supposed to show the difficulty I had in putting the cover back on the heater core, but I cannot find the footage. To make a long story short, the same screw that is hard to get to when removing the heater core cover is just as difficult to reinstall. But once you get the cover lined up, it does go back on the way it came off. Although this project took longer than I planned and was unexpected, I'm glad I'm done with it. Now I am one step closer to being able to swap the B18 into the Civic. There are still other projects in the way, but this was the big one. I'll keep an eye out for leaks, but I think we're pretty good. Thanks for watching. Take care.